If not myEcon, then what? If it's not myEcon, then please, someone tell me, what is it going to take to fix people's families and heal them from this disaster? We started off this morning talking about the Word of God says that there is a way that seems right. And Coach Mellon just come and said, the Son set us free. Man, I wrote that down, I took that down. Whom the Son set free. See, we got to understand, God has set us free, but we have to do our part in this. God ain't gonna come down and do anything else. He already gave us this. And I promise you, 100% of the time, when we look at this, let's look at something I want to show you really quickly here as we go to this. And I'll cover those cards a little bit later. Let's see, where am I at now? I got so much stuff open down here. I got to find where am I at here. Okay, here's what I want to talk to you about. Okay, success strategies versus wealth strategies. I'm just going to run through this really quickly because if it's not myEcon, then what is it? A success strategy says go to school, get a good education, get your technical degree, bachelor degree, graduate degree, whatever. Plenty of people. I got taught that. Go get a good job. Work the 40-40-40 plan. 40 hours a week, 40 years, you're going to retire on 40% of what's not enough now. Build and do a business has not been put in our repertoires. And so we got this 40-40-40 plan. Now, do good. Help the poor. We ought to do that. Love God. We ought to do that. Save a little money for a rainy day. One day you're going to retire and live good. You're going to have your Social Security and whatever retirement package you have. But here's the problem. Most people, all they have in retirement is Social Security. Because over 90+% of everybody who have a 401k today don't put anything in it. Because when the person comes to the job and talk about 401k, they spend 30 minutes talking about a 401k, but they don't really tell you what it is and how you do it. They tell you, I'll put some money here. Well, as soon as you put a little bit there and the storm comes alive, call the emergency, you're going to say, I'm going to borrow out my 401k. And you're never going to put the money back. This is a success strategy. You've been taught this. As Coach Mellon just said, you have been indoctrinated with this, that this is what you're supposed to do. A wealth strategy says, this is myEcon. Build your business. Get leverage income. Get multiple streams of income. Build residual income. Build investment income. You'll have passive income when you do that. Passive income is that you can sit down now and all of the things you got going on make you more than enough income to live and continue to grow your investment, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. If not this, are you seriously, you really believe, you done did this now. Go back to what I showed you earlier about middle income. You started out, you might have been that person started at $40,000. And you might be that person today that made it all the way up to $150,000. And then you look at yourself and say, why are we still in the same struggle? Seem like we're still in the same fight that we were in all of the time. It don't seem like, even though we make more money, we still like we got the same struggle. Because this 40-40-40 plan says every time you make more money, every time you do something, buy a bigger house, get more debt. See, the 40-40-40 plan says you're supposed to leverage all of your income, every penny of it. Spend it all. So athletes have that same thing. They were born in the hood. They get a check. They get a big bonus check when they sign. And they say, okay, who can I spend up all this money on? Who can I buy something for in my hood, in my family? They start just buying stuff. And they spend up all their money because they don't get another check. And then one day when they in the league, they look up and they no longer in the league. And because they spent all kind of money during the league, they end up out of the league, and 4 or 5 years later, they bouncing checks on the street. If not myEcon, who? This is Alvin Curry playing when I was in that house that John Pettifer showed you. that I wanted to make $100,000 a year. I didn't know how to do it. I was making $10 an hour. So I went back to college and I got an accounting degree. So I use the word accounting degree, accountant versus myEcon. So I figured worst case scenario, 10 to 20 years as an accountant, I would make $100,000 a year, somewhere in there. 4 to 6 years of schooling, while in school I made zero. Had to take all the classes in the curriculum and pass it. That's roughly a $60,000 to $100,000 degree today. After school, your starting salary somewhere, depending on where you are, can be $30,000 to $50,000 a year. 2 to 5 years after that, you earn a master's degree in business administration or accounting. Pass the CPA exam. Now 5 to 10 years in, you are an experienced comptroller or perhaps even a CFO of somebody's company. By the time you get a job as a CFO of a publicly traded company, PTC is publicly traded company, or you build your own accounting firm with hundreds of clients, you can make 6 figures. This is a 10 at best, 20 more likely path for a successful people, CPA. Now, I know many of them that's been at it 20 years don't make $100,000 a day. I know many of them. And if you build your own firm, if you don't understand how to put away money so you can retire, you can go out here and be a successful professional tax person. Make $100,000 every year doing taxes. But what happens when retirement comes? Where are you going to retire from? What are you going to do to get retirement income? Because if you don't understand that you need to be building a retirement, which many of them don't, they struggle. So now let's look again at myEcon. Okay? John talks on about this. I won't go into all the details, but you got 12 to 18 months of really learning and growing this business. You're not going to learn all these things. You can learn some stuff in 10, 15 minutes. In the next 30 days, I hope to help you learn and understand how your W-4 works and how to at least your cash flow manager works. And then how to do peak and pass. If I can get you to learn those things in the first 30 to 60 days, we can then keep you around long enough to teach you all of these things. $39.95 a month, that's a typo there, 34. It's actually $39.95. $28 to $56, okay? Now, you're going to get the monthly DTR and all that. You go out here, you build on the basis of 10 people a week. This shows your monthly income. John went through this. Well, you can build this, and this takes 3 to 7 years. This takes 3 to 7 years to build $100,000 a year income. John already went through that. I'm not going to tell you much about it. If not myEcon, then what? Okay, great job. The first generation of families, they go out and they get a great job. They work 40 years. They can't pass that job on to their children. They cannot pass that. There is a way that seems right to a man. We talked about that this morning. There's a way that seems right, but the end is ruined. Another person go build a little business. They don't get it done, but the first generation, they build a business. Bam. They work 40 years. They pass that business on to their children. So now when your children go start from scratch, because they got a little bit better education than you did, they work the second generation here on a job. Okay, now they have a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children. The second generation out here got a business. They left an inheritance. You can't leave that inheritance on your job because you can't leave your job to it. If not myEcon, then what? Third generation now, we got some professional educated people. We got these law degrees and doctorate degrees. We now making high 6 figures. We got it going on. We still starting at the bottom with our professional degree because we can't leverage the jobs our parents had. But the Bible declares that the blessings of the Lord make us rich and addeth no sorrow. The third generation, now they're out here in the third generation, 120 years. 120 years went by in your family. You just passed job to job. Everybody started over from what they could do. You didn't pass anything down. You started over every time. The third generation, 160 years. The blessing of the Lord that made us a rich family now. And then the fourth generation, we got very highly educated people, but they started over too. Yeah, they made it a little bit better. They lived a little bit better than their parents did. But without a business, they still have their children starting over and over and over. So that fourth generation, 160 years of family's growth, now you see a big, huge corporation out here. And the Bible says a man's gift makes room for him at the top and takes them amongst wise people. Look up for your own self Smucker's jelly. My mother made all the jellies and preserves and everything for our family. I never ate store-bought jellies and preserves, and we ate them every day. My mother cooked hot biscuits, and we put butter and jellies and preserves in them. That was a meal for us. That's what we ate. I didn't know that we didn't have, I thought, what else? I didn't know what I thought. I just thought that was good. My mother got up every morning, made hot biscuits, butter and jams and preserves that she made for her family. All for all of her 10 children. They all talk about that. If you ask any of her children, they'll tell you she did that during their time at home. She did it all the way up till she got too old to do it. But now if you go look up Smucker's jelly, the first time I tasted that, I was in the Army. I was over 20 years old. They built a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And I want to say they at least the fourth or fifth generation now of building jellies and jam. I believe to this day my mother's jellies and jam are still better. But my mother didn't turn that into an income-producing asset. She had a gift inside of her of $1 billion gift. Go look up Jimmy Dean's meats. Jimmy Dean sells pork sausages and other hams and other stuff. My mother's father was a butcher. He sold pork sausage. He sold ham. He made a living doing it, but it never got any more than just a job for him because he didn't know how to parlay it into a big business. Go look up these companies. Go look up companies that were passed from generation to generation. Their generation didn't have to start over. In the Curry family, every one of us were taught to go get an education. All of us got various degrees of education, yet all of us started over. And they don't have anything to pass along to their children. This is not saying this to be mean. I love my family. They know I love them. But they got great degrees, but their degrees can't be passed on. Their children has to go out here and say, they starting over now. They have to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, if it's not myEcon, then I ask you to tell me what is the answer. If it's not myEcon, then help me understand what the answer is. I say myEcon, the personal financial success company, is the answer. I want to add one last thing here, then we're going to go into our promotions and our Q&A for the day. But you look at something. Take myEcon name off this. We gave this financial success membership is a brand that we did. That's not a brand that would be considered in the financial world that somebody can go look up and say, I can get a financial success membership over here at Merrill Lynch or whatever. I get a financial success membership over here at Prime America. No, you can only get it at myEcon. But let's take the name financial success membership off. Let's take the name myEcon off. Because I said, if not myEcon, then what? Let me ask you a question. I want you to write this down, think about this, do whatever, put it in chat, whatever you want to. If the name myEcon is not attached to it, with what you know now, should a person have a home-based business or some type of business so they can minimize taxes or should they just work for a job? Take myEcon out the picture. Put it in chat. What do you think? Should a person have a home-based business, at least so they can minimize the taxes and keep the taxes in their check? If you think that's yes, should they then adjust their W-4, or should they wait on a refund at the end of the year and then just keep on giving away money, keep on paying their debts, and keep on struggling for the rest of their life? If a person should minimize their taxes and change their W-4 and put the money in their pocket so that they can go eliminate their debt instead of paying extra on it all the time. Should a person understand how to build credit for themselves, or should they just keep paying somebody to do it for them? Take myEcon name off it. Because this class says, if not myEcon, then what is the answer? You tell me. I want to see you put it in the chat, because I'm going to go review the chats before I get off here today. I want to see what your thoughts are about this question. If you take myEcon name off it, if you take the Financial Success membership off it, does these strategies, will they stand the test of time? Should a person understand asset accumulation, which is building an asset for their own self? Should they understand the difference between a stock and a bond? Or should they just wait on somebody to tell them which one to buy? Should a person understand the difference between a mutual fund and an annuity? Or should they just let someone tell them which one to buy? See, because remember, it's nothing wrong with any of them in the right context. But you have to know what they are, and then so you can decide the context and don't let someone else decide that context for you. Because the person deciding that context, they got a commission tied to it. Now, we have people in myEcon that have bought into this whole myEcon concept. Now, they think and sell differently than people who you just meet out here in the world. I was in Virginia Beach. I talked to y'all about that other week. And there was a financial guy from Merrill Lynch in the room, and we were talking building personal financial success. And, they did a little interview with me and him and asked a few questions. Everything he said was correct, except everything he said that nobody in the room knew what he was talking about. Because he used a whole bunch of Merrill Lynch talking points. I understood it because I'm financial literate. But the people in the room had no idea what he was talking about. I guarantee he can get now person in the room to call him. And he even told me this. He told me, he says, Alvin, we really, our target market is people that make $250,000 and above. That's his target market. What percentage? John, I don't know if John went there or not, but he can tell you probably better than I can. The percentage of the people that make $250,000 a year, that would have to be somewhere no more than 1 or 2% of the people in the whole United States. So what he said, if we don't want this other 95 to 99%, we only want the exclusive ones who got a good income that we can talk to them about. See, many people in the financial service industry, they don't know how to help you if you don't have nothing. But now, we have a gentleman here. I won't call his name and put him on blast right now because I haven't talked to him about it. But he will tell you, because he has done some testimonies on it, when he started in myEcon about 15 years ago, he was just like everybody else, upside down. And he is a very articulate man, very analytical. He set out to prove that what I was telling him about the W-4 was not correct. So he wasn't one of these people to say, I'm going to go do it. He went and did it. He went and started checking out everything. And the more he checked it out, the more he like, dog, everything he said, this is it. It does work this way. Today, he got over $600,000 in his portfolio. He got a letter. I don't know how they found him, but I guess, somebody sold his name on the list or something. He got a letter from a company called Fisher Investment. And they said, we see that you're one of the top investors, and all this nice little letter they wrote up to him. And we want to help you on growing your income. Well, he and I, we sit around and laughed about it, because when he was down below zero, Fisher wouldn't have talked to him, and neither would Merrill Lynch. But now that he got 600,000, he went from 0 to 600,000 out there. Now they can come in. Now that he got some money, they can really, really, really show him how to get that thing going. I looked like to me, maybe I missed something. It looked like to me, he got it going. Looked like to me something went right. 15 years he went from toe up from the floor up to debt-free and $600,000 in his portfolio. I would have to say that was something went right. I can't hardly understand how that was something went wrong, how he now need them to come on here and get him straight. But I can show them 80% of Americans who they don't even want to talk to, called Middle America. They don't even want to talk to you. But then when you get some money, now they say, oh, well, now that you got some, we want to come over here now and we want to talk to you. We want to help you get straight now that you have something. But when you're over here and then have nothing, only myEcon. Only myEcon. If not myEcon, then my question to you, my question to everyone is, if not myEcon, then what? If the system that myEcon teaches, the financial success membership, built on top of a home-based business where you can generate anywhere from a few dollars a month to millions of dollars a year. You have the total ability to do that. And make no mistake, it didn't go without notice. When we built this company, we made decisions, Alvin and I made decisions, that you would always own your downline. Which is to say, if you go out and build $1 million portfolio and the Lord call you home, that portfolio goes on to your children and your children's children. Just like mine go to my children, yours go to your children. I seen this in another company I was with, I won't call a name, but a man was making $500,000 back in the 80s, which was a lot of money back then. He died, and they forced his wife to sell the business. She had to sell the business because she wasn't the one running it. That to me was a travesty. We said we'd never do that to nobody, because the Bible says, do unto others as you would have them do. I wouldn't want nobody to treat college like that. So I wouldn't treat nobody else like that. So you can feel sure, whatever you build with myEcon, your family gets to keep that if you leave this earth. All of us know people who have left this earth in myEcon. Their businesses is their business, whether big or little. See, you might be looking at your business right now saying it's little. But let me be very clear to you. You have the same opportunity, the same business model. Excuse me. You have the same business model that John Pettifordale has. You have the same distributorship and same marketing plan and same everything that Spencer LeCapra had. Both of these are very good myEcon CEO Infinities. And I just happened to know both of them when they were totally financially toe up. Now, they didn't know me when I was financially toe up, but I knew them when they was financially toe up. And I can flat tell you today, ain't now one of them financially tore up anymore. I can guarantee you, they never went to the gas station in many, many years and didn't feel they caught up every time, no matter what the price of gas is, no matter what the price of groceries is. The little cappers, I don't know if they're going to serve dinner at their house or eat somewhere else, but I can guarantee you they can afford groceries for Thanksgiving and it won't bust their budget. I happen to know his family very well. John Pettiford, if he's serving dinner at his house for Thanksgiving, he can do it and it ain't going to bust his budget. Many people, I'm not mad at them, they had to line up overnight to try to get a basket from some church or some organization to help with Thanksgiving dinner. Folks, that is a storm in America. It could, by the grace of God, be anybody. They had a job, and they lost their job. And now they found themselves for the first time, many people, having to get in the line and say, I need help. If not myEcon, then tell me what. And if you take myEcon name off it, will the principles and strategies that myEcon teach, will they stand the test of time? In that, I believe, if you take the name of myEcon off, Alvin Curry believes that without fail, everybody ought to have some kind of a business. Nobody should let the IRS hold their money interest-free for a year. Nobody should pay somebody else to do their credit for them and don't know what the heck they don't. Nobody shouldn't sit around and talk to people about investment and they don't at least already know the difference between the stock and the bond because they setting themselves up to be taken for a ride. I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm just telling you, you need to learn the difference. And most financial planners, they're not going to teach you the difference. They're going to teach you what they want to sell you. Now, I happen to know Strose is one of our good friends here. He's been in the financial service business for years. If you attend one of his sessions, he's going to tell you all of it. He's going to tell you about all of them. He's going to tell you what stock, bonds, all of them are. He's going to tell you about insurance products. He'll tell you about tax deductible products, non-tax deductible. He'll tell you all of them. Why? That's who he is. Because what he has done is he's taken this myEcon concept and he's merged that with his financial service organization that he's had for a number of years before he ever got to myEcon. But I don't know that about everybody out here. I don't see no indication of that by everybody out here. I can guarantee you Strose ain't sitting around talking about, I need people that $250,000. I can guarantee you if you talk to Strose, that first meeting, he's going to tell you, you need to go and get started with $50 or $25 or something other. You just need to get started to working that muscle. That's his thing. Strose ain't going to be like, well, we just wait till you get some. No, let's go ahead on. Let's open up a $25 one. Let's open up a $50 one. Let's get you started. And then we'll grow it as we get more and more. That, to me, is what one should be doing. So you got to start somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. Our price points are here, so if you do make $15 an hour, John talked about half of Black America make less than $15 an hour, but you can still afford $9. If you can afford Nike tennis shoes, you can afford $9. When I lived in that house John showed you, my children didn't wear Nikes. I didn't buy but one of my children Nikes. My two older children never did get Nikes from me. Well, I take that back. They got some Nikes. They didn't want them, so I bought one pair. I had an agreement with them. My older son was a great sports athlete. I told him to set the goals. He hit them. I went and bought some Nikes. They were about 5-year-old Nikes. You know, Nikes had them series come out every year. He's like, this ain't what I meant. I said, they got the switch on them, don't they? And he quit bugging me about Nike. That nigga was 43 years old today. I don't even think he wear Nike today. He won't buy himself none. My daughter, she was shocked till she dropped to find a deal. Not because she ain't got money. She's a pretty good attorney. Makes 6 figures. But she just got taught by her daddy and her mama. We didn't just buy because everybody else bought. We didn't just buy name brand. because everybody else bought. We did buy our youngest son a couple pair of Nikes during his lifetime, but all of them are very frugal today because we taught them these principles in their lives. If not myEcon, then what?